All right. So, well, this is the live demo. So, as we mentioned earlier, OpenShift is the place to do everything Ansible. I know you've probably heard that a lot lately. Just to continue to beat on that a little bit more. Again, this is my lab environment. It is a single node OpenShift. I've got my automation platform. I've got my dev spaces. I've got virtualization to provide place for having machines to test. I've got my developer hub operator. Those are all being operator managed here. But in addition to that, if that wasn't enough, I've also got, again, a couple of projects of in-place upgrade servers for things I'm writing, and my open policy agent server that I demonstrated earlier this morning. If you didn't get a chance to check that out, check out my YouTube page or the recording after Red Hat 1's over, and you can see that in action as well. So as we've established, OpenShift is the place to do automation development, as well as automation execution, automation enforcement, automation testing. It's all here in one place. But again, this is about the developer experience. And as I alluded to earlier, the first thing I want to address is how to actually get started. So remember back in college, and again, not putting a date on that or anything, one of the hardest things for writing an essay or doing a programming assignment, an art project, or really doing anything is that very first step, where to begin. So for that, we are going to use Red Hat Developer Hub and create a template in here so we aren't staring at a blank VS Code project trying to get started, and instead we are going to have the groundwork already laid for us, and we can just get straight into writing the unique code that matters to our automation. So we're here. I've got this new Developer Hub instance. It's been configured with the Ansible plugin, so I've got a couple of sample templates from Ansible. We'll look at those later, but first we're going to actually import our own content. So to import a content, there's just a import existing Git repository. All you do is provide the URL to where this Kubernetes object is. This is, in my GitHub instance, there's an analyze button here to make sure that is a valid YAML object and all of that goodness. Here's the review. It tells us we're going to add a new location and a new service job template. So we'll go ahead and import it, and it gives us an option to register more. I just have the one for now. So let's go ahead and look at this template. So first, a couple things you have immediately. If you are in a larger environment, you will certainly appreciate view source. You can see where this is coming from. This will give you a link out to GitHub or wherever your template YAML files are stored. You can view documentation or launch the template. One thing I want to point out here, because it took me a while as we were developing this template, is there is a schedule entity refresh button. This is effectively a git pull. So as you update your templates, trying to sort things out, edit, change, whatever, you don't have to recreate the template every time. This will just pull the latest YAML definition in. So let's just go ahead and we will launch this template. It's going to ask for us to fill out a form. Where am I going to create this repository? It's going to be in GitHub. It's going to be in my Bontrager Labs organization. We're going to call this the Red Hat 1 Live Demo. It's just a simple demonstration. This will have a project collection associated with it. This is just to show what you could do in as far as making things accessible and reusable by other organizations. That's not something we're going to get into here. This is the developer experience, not actually developing. So we'll click review, and this just gives us a recap of what we provided. We'll go ahead and click create, and this will run our pipeline that will actually go ahead and publish and create our Git repository. We can immediately see this Git repository here. Let's go ahead and look. So again, we can see, boom, just published, scaffolder, made this initial commit. We have all of our content. But again, this is about the developer experience. We have a link right away to open this in dev spaces. So this will go out. It will find the dev file that we have in our template, and it will spin up a workspace based off of that dev file. So as soon as this workspace deployment wraps up, we can see what we've got. Editor start, open IDE, perfect. And we have dev spaces with our code already preloaded in it. And as you give it a couple seconds, there's the extensions that are automatically installed. We are in a place where we are immediately ready to develop code. We can start writing playbooks, editing the playbooks, continuing on what already exists. We have the Ansible extension already in place, so we can connect out and get Lightspeed, and source controls already connected to our repository. There's no configuration necessary. It's already using my credentials that I established when I set up Developer Hub. So there's nothing, like, it is immediately out the door being useful and productive. Now, I'm not going to go into the features of dev spaces. Again, we actually have another presentation tomorrow morning, developing Ansible automation content in a browser-based environment. That's over in room 359. Check that out for more on what you can do with the dev space itself. So again, one of the things that drives me nuts, though, is demos that just kind of hand wave over, hey, you can do all this customization. Let's actually get here into these nitty-gritty details. So going back here to the templates that we used earlier. Again, I could have also reached that through DevSpace or through Developer Hub itself. You'll see I've got my Ansible Red Hat Developer Hub templates. I forked these from the official Ansible RHDH templates that are published by BU engineering people here. So you will see those are the templates that are already included in my Developer Hub. And again, pretty generic wrappers around the Ansible creator. I wanted to take that a step further and look at how we can actually customize it and make it valuable for our customers. So let's take a look at the one that I was working with here. This is the Red Hat 1 demo, and we'll go zoom this in, make it as easy as you can see. So there's some system definitions, etc. And then this parameters is defining that form that we filled out earlier. So you've got where my source control is coming from. I could add multiple ones to this list if you're in a place that has multiple source control options. Your repository name. This should all look exactly like the form I just filled out. Titles, descriptions, and then the data type that it accepts. Let's get into the interesting part, though. This is where we defined the pipeline. Those were the steps that we saw. I think still have, these steps that we saw, generating code, injecting, publishing, registering. Those are defined here using actions in backstage terms. So the first one here is this Ansible content create. I'm choosing to start from the Ansible creator tool and have it create a playbook project for us as a place to start. You could choose to not use this at all and actually define everything yourself or tweak it a little bit, which is the way I chose to go. And this is what I actually chose to do. I chose to inject a custom skeleton. So I have files in my directory here that are overwritten in the template. So we'll see. We'll look at that in a moment. But yeah, basically I provide custom Ansible configs, custom readmes, but I can overwrite the files that the creator gave me to customize it. Then from here, this is the catalog entry. This is creating the tile in Developer Hub for our users to click on. So you'll see it's got some annotations like, the dev spaces, repository URL and such. And then we publish this to GitHub. So this is just a create the repository in GitHub. And we create the catalog items in Dev Hub so that they can be reused. And then, this is where we created those output links. So, it will go ahead and give us that repository link, give us the catalog link, and give us that dev spaces link that we saw there. So this template's customizable. It is, again, as you see, it is a Kubernetes object for a backstage scaffolder. So this is something that you'd customize, get deep into in creating something for your customers. This is the sort of effort that you would be working on. So that is, and as I mentioned, you have a skeleton here, so I just chose to override a few things like a README and then a config. But you could obviously put whatever you wanted in here to adjust the files that are in there. So this is really how you actually get into the guts of customizing these templates. And again, I hate how we use the word template here because template also makes me think job templates in AAP, but they are not the same. But this is where you get into the weeds of how you can provide that customized tile, so that, again, user comes in, they click, fill out a form, boom, they're in a workspace, able to commit, write code, and they are off to the races. So again, thank you for checking out this demo. We will